Well, you can tell this a clinician is doing this. There's a lot of water out there. I mean, you could probably boil that and make tea and coffee out of it. I mean, the first thing you would do is you'd go into the hospital. You're probably asking, what do you do with the water afterwards? Well, you just throw it away. What else can you do? So a blister like this is probably caused by a burn. And that can be a problem because the blister itself there with the water there actually keeps everything intact. And the whole idea is that it would go down as inflammation reduces over time. 3 to 5 days. The popping, which is a draining, needs to be done with an instrument that's clean and sterile. Usually what I would do in my clinic, we have sterile instrument packs. I'd open one up and then I would just like make a small incision and let the water drain out. You need to keep it clean again, so it's about putting a clean, sterile dressing on. Ouch, that looks awful. Oh my God, she's touching it. Like, what the? Do you see that's like an oil well coming out? That is just crazy. That's how you get like a flash injury into your eye. Like that's one of the main things when you're training as a podiatrist is to wear protective like goggles because you're popping a blister and you just sweat into your eye. That's literally like human oil well going on there. Oh great, it's a dog coming on there. You got a dog like sniffing around there. Like what's going on there? That gets infected. Like you're just looking for trouble, prodding around. Oh my God. Oh God. That's like, I thought it literally came out of the screen. It's like so much fluid coming out. Oh no. Now you got the camera. The dog's coming back again. Like what's going on though? Is it, I don't know if I'm more concerned about her getting that infected or the dog touching it. That was a bad example. I mean like, I don't know if this instrument that she used to pop it was clean. Like, if it isn't, it could easily get infected. Then you got a dog coming in there sniffing around. No offense to the dog though, but the whole idea is to keep your wound nice and clean. Usually something like this, a blister is probably caused by rubbing in the footwear. Easy, just put a dressing on there, keep it wrapped up, in a few days it'll slightly go down. Okay. I've never seen a big blister on a leg like that before. I can say that for a fact. But that looks gross.
Delicious!
I would not want to be walking around with a big blister like that on my leg. That does look quite tempting to pop. If this patient came in there, I would drain as soon as possible. So much water would come out from there, you would not believe it. And a blister like this will require such a big dressing on there. You want a primary dressing and a secondary dressing, which is like sterile gauze or foam dressing, which goes on top. But the whole idea is to keep that clean and dry. And it'll take probably a week or two to see some sort of signs of healing. Again, we don't know what's underneath the blister, but the whole idea is that the skin provides a protective layer. When it heals with it on top, that actually provides another aspect of skin going on top. Because if you remove it, then it has to epithelialize and new skin coming in. It's just above the ankle on the leg.
Game over.
That looks
Just wait till the doctor.
and that looks so oval and cake. Sterile gauze, sterile instrument using to poke a hole in there.
Dr. Pimple Popper.
Ready?
Wow.
I'm not lie.
That was just a small blister, a small incision there, small drainage, and the plaster on top.
No denying it, y'all. Runners have the gnarliest feet. Here I'm showing you how I cope with my blisters. A blistered band-aid and KT tape.
Not too bad. That's a good idea actually, because it reduces infection in your footwear itself. Foot's in there, it's rubbing, you've got something there. When you're doing long distance running or jogging, it actually causes more friction and heat to build up when your feet are in the shoe. What I find weird is like when you look at these running shoes, like they've got a narrow toe box. You want something which is more wider. The narrower it is, the more rubbing and friction can cause in the side of your feet. I mean, just because you're on antibiotics doesn't mean you can just like prod around with unsterile. You really need sterile gauze for this. I can just like shoot how painful that must feel. It's just squeezing it out. But that's like an extreme example of when like a blister can get affected. Once it becomes infected, then you need antibiotics. Flucloxacillin in the UK can help to kind of reduce the swelling down. But in that time, you need to make sure that you're changing your dressing every day, making sure you don't touch it, because if you touch it, you're actually introducing more bacteria into that area, and it could actually delay the wound healing. The whole idea is to keep it sterile and clean. You can get like saline cleanser from your chemist or pharmacy, and just spray it on there, clean it nicely, and use gloves if you have to. Do not touch your hands on that. Let it dry. You can pat it down with a clean towel, but make sure that you have sterile gauze at the end as well, just to cleanse it. And then you can put a plaster on there. You can get something like what we call a me paw. stick it down there. Okay, we've got a blister on the pinky toe.
Set phasers on conquering the universe.
So,
Okay.
my husband to drain it.
What's he doing? Oh no,
It's sterilized.
he's sterilized it. Or at least it was sterilized. I'm guessing not over a stove or something. But your hands aren't clean. You should be wearing gloves at least. What's he doing? Why is he pressing it? Okay, so he made an incision there and used his thumbs to like push the fluid out. But still, if you're gonna do something like that, you need to make sure that the area is clean.
Shot from
It's a bit inflamed.
afternoon.
You can literally see the inflammation there. It's a bit of red around the ankle area.
We'll clean it on as long as we can.
She did a good thing though. That was good though to keep plaster on because at least prevents some touchy
Ankle and I. Ankle is.
it's hot and red.
As you can see,
That
well,
looks infected.
you can see that it's red
You
green
can see it's red.
out here.
It's inflamed. Ouch. And it's painful just to watch. I mean, at this stage, you should probably have gone into the hospital.
What's the worst?
You know, you just put in antibiotics. So this looks like it got inflamed and infected, but she didn't take any antibiotics or anything. It looks like it resolved itself. As the days went by on, the inflammation went down drastically. It popped afterwards. You pop that, blood would come out. There's portal of entry, which probably had bacteria to get in there. But it's good that she put a plaster dressing on there. A good thing was that she did actually rinse it with salt water. Salt water can also provide some sort of cleansing and make sure that the skin and area is actually much more cleaner. Soaking the foot in salt water is something I recommend to patients when they have like a wound or anything. From the last image we saw, it looks like it's healing quite well. This will probably heal in the next few weeks. You know, there might be a scab that forms on there. It's important not to pick the scab off, let the scab come off itself. Otherwise, you actually risk causing another wound to come because if you rip the scab off, you start bleeding again. Well, there you have it. TikTok's widest blisters reviewed by yours truly, the Good Foot Doctor. And remember, my friends, make sure you never pop a blister. If possible, if you have to, make sure it's done by a sterile instrument. Make sure the area is always clean so you don't introduce any bacteria into that. And make sure you get antibiotics if it does get infected. And once again, health is wealth. And I will see you in the next one, in the next mystery that we're going to solve together.